Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So basically today we are going to discuss about the semaphores. We are going to see that what are semaphores in the Python programming language, why we just use this and basically how to use this thing with the help of the threads in the Python programming. Right. So basically first of all let's see that what is a semaphore actually. So semaphore can be used to limit the excess of the shared resources with limited capacity, right? Now let's say you want to share some resource, okay? In that basically it can be used to limit the excess of that shared resources with the limited capacity, right? Let's say you want to just share some resource to some persons, some let's say 10 persons, okay? So this with the help of the semaphore technique you can just share that particular resource to the limited capacity whatever you just want, right? Okay, after that, this is an advanced part of the synchronization, right? We just used to do the synchronization using the R and the R, sorry, using the lock and the R lock, right? These were the two techniques that we had already seen. So this is an advanced part of the synchronization. Now, what was happening in that particular case that we were taking the lock and R lock. So in lock and R lock, you can just share 4 to 5, like you can just share the resources with 4 to 5 persons at a time, right? You can just do not can you cannot make threads inside a thread and you can just not share it with many people, which is this was the use that why we just introduced the semaphore here. So it can be used to limit the excess of the shared resources with limited capacity. So it is basically an advanced part of the synchronization, right? So first of all, I hope that I had made this thing very clear to you that what are semaphores actually used for, right? Now we'll be moving towards the programming that we'll be seeing that how to write out the code using the semaphores, right? So here I am and let me just come down and get out some space here after the definition. Right, so I would just start defining my library here, right? So we all know that whenever we just want to make the thread, so we just used to do all these things like this. What we actually do, we actually import the threading module, right? So here I'm just using a different technique for that. So I'm just writing from threading import asterisk. So this means that from the threading module, I am trying to import the asterisk. This actually means that from the threading module, I am trying to import all of the functions, basically all the functions which I have in the threading module. Right now, why I am just using this, because from this I just need to use the semaphore function, right? So in that case, instead of writing import this particular function or that particular function, I am simply writing that from threading import me this asterisk, that is basically my all the functions from this threading module, right? And even after that I'd be using the time module as well, so I would be importing the time module as well here. So import and here comes the time. Okay, now basically you'll be creating an instance here, okay, creating a thread instance here, and I'll be giving it a particular count, let's say, right? So I would just, let's say my instance is a, okay, let's say a is my instance which I have created, and that I'll be creating with the semaphore, right? So here goes the semaphore, okay, and now inside the bracket I'll be putting the count, okay, that what count actually I just want here. So let's say my count is 3 which I want. Okay, that thing I have done. Now what I would be just doing is that now I'd be creating out my instance here. Okay, I'd be creating out my instance. So for that I'd be using out a function here. Okay, def. Okay, def, I'm just making the function here. So it is my keyword which I used to make out the function. Right, and inside this function, I've just named this function as, let's say, details. Okay, right? Let's say details is the name for this function, and inside this bracket I'll be passing a parameter, and let's say that parameter is here. Okay, that is, let's say, a underscore name. Okay, let's say this is the parameter which I had actually passed here. Now you can just pass any parameter according to your choice, whatever you just want. I just want to pass out a underscore name, so I've just done that thing. Right, now what I would just do is that we do actually do here, we call the acquire method, right? We just use this acquire method inside the function. This is the same thing, right, which we are doing from the previous programs as well. So here I would be just taking, okay, let me just take out the variable that is a. Okay, we had made the we had made a thread instance as the name of a, right? So I would just take that a here, I'll put out a dot, and I would just use out my acquire method here. So a dot acquire. Okay, this is the full zoom, right? So I just use out this acquire method. That is absolutely okay. right? Now what I would be just doing is that I'll be applying out a for loop. Okay, so let's say for I in range. Okay, for I in range, and let's say I'll be writing here 4. Let's say 4 is my number which I have actually given inside this. Okay, so for I in range and in the bracket it is 4. Right, now what I would just do here is that I'd be printing out the statement. So print, and let's say I want to print out my name. Okay, okay, instead of my name, let's print out here as Python. Okay, Python. Okay, and I would just do here comma and just put out an end here so that it actually differentiates, give some spaces between the things, right? So here I have taken out the for loop. Inside for loop, I just put out a number that till this particular range, just print me this statement that is Python. Okay, and then after that, give me some space as well. Right, this is the thing that I have written. After that, I would be even using my time model which I have imported above. Right, so I would be just using that time dot sleep, and now into the bracket I would be giving that like in what time interval I just want it to be appearing. Right, so let's say here I just give as 1.5 seconds. Okay, so this will all the like value which you are going to give here, that will always be in the seconds only. Right, if you just want to convert it into minutes or hours, so you need to multiply accordingly with the 60, right? But here the default value which are actually taken, these are in the seconds, right? I have done, and I will just come on to the next line and just use our print, and inside this print statement I'll be using my parameter which I have written inside my function, and that is a underscore name. Okay, so this a underscore name is actually having this particular name which is Python, right? Okay, now basically this till this point it is absolutely right, and now what I would be just doing is that I would be calling out my object dot sorry calling out my release function. So a dot release, right? I would just come here and I would just go back. Okay, give me a tab space here, and here only I'll be coming down and using a dot release. Okay, so this is basically I'm just calling out my release function here. Fine. Now what I would just do is that I would be creating the multiple threads. Okay, at the threads which I just want, I'll be creating that here. So come on to the next line, and let's say the name for my threads are A1. First one is the A1. Okay. So for that I'll be using out my thread function here. Into the bracket I'll be writing out that what is my target. So in the target what we do actually, we write out the function name, right? We call out the function here. So my target is details, right? So I would just write here details. Right, I would put out a comma, and what are the arguments which I want to pass here? Okay, so my argument was which I just want to pass here, that is a underscore name. So let's say I would be passing here a thread. Okay, let's say this is the argument which I want to pass here, and I'll just put out a comma here. Right, let's say I would come on to the next line. I would write a2 here. Okay, a2 is equal to, I would be again using that particular same thing, which is thread, and into the bracket I'll be writing target is equal to details, comma, what are my arguments? So my arguments now will be, I'll be putting out the same as well, only name differentiates, that is b thread. Okay, let me just write this h as a small b thread. Okay, and I would put okay, I would put a comma here after the thread like this, right? So now basically till what particular point I would be just doing the same thing. So I'll be doing the same thing till 4. Okay, I'm just making 4 threads here because in my range what I had put in here, I just put here 4, right? So because of that I'll be making my 4 threads here. So A1, A2 is completed. Now comes the turn for my A3. So A3 is equal to, I'll be again making a thread here. Into the bracket, I'll be writing about the target. So my target is my function name, that is details, right? I put out a comma here. And what about my arguments? So my arguments are now C thread, right? The name for my now next thread is C. And I'll put out a comma here. Again, come on to the next line. I'll be using A4. A4 is equal to, and that is the thread again, right? And now inside this I'd be using target is equal to, and again I'd be calling out my function, that is details, right? Okay, I will put out a comma here, and after that I'd be passing the argument. So args arguments, that is equal to, and my fourth argument is d thread, and I'll put out a comma, right? So my all the 4 threads are made, which I just wanted to make. I had made 4 because in my for loop I had passed the number as 4. Now whatever the number you pass, that number of threads you'll be making here, right? That is completely done. Now basically what's my last and the next task for this program, that is basically I need to call out the threads, right? So for threads calling, what we do, we write the name for the thread, that is A1, and simply I would just call out my function, that is the start. This is how we call the threads. I would just write A2 dot start. Next comes my A3 dot start. Okay, and at last comes my A4 dot start, right? This is how actually we call out the threads, right? So here I just completed my program using the semaphore. So here comes my semaphore, right? Now what I would just do is that I would run out my program here once, and let's see that basically what output we are getting. See, it is basically printing me Python, Python, Python 3 times, first of all. Okay, then it is printing me the C and my thread. Then Python B, Python A, and then my thread, right? Now, it is basically again and again printing me Python till the number of times my loop is actually running. Till this particular point, my loop is running this one. This for loop, till the point it is running, it is printing me again and again the Python. Right, so basically if you are able to see, actually it is very small, so that is in the case I need to zoom in. So because of zoom in, it comes on to the next lines as well. But three will be printed in one line, then another will be printed in another line, and another will be printed in another line. It goes like this only, right? But because of here I'm just zooming in to show you the output, it is printing in the some different lines. But if I just zoom it out again, now it will be in the correct order, right? So basically, I hope that you have got a clear and a fair idea that how we actually use the semaphores in the threads, and basically what's the use of this, what alternative we are using it for, and basically this part, this is advanced part which comes in the synchronization. Right, so I hope I just made these things very much clear to you. Right, so this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.